Hi there, thanks for checking out some snowman, and I have a question from Facebook about polyamory, and it is, what do you do with jealousy? This is a great question, and admittedly it is a very common one that I receive. A little bit regretfully, more so than the question, what do you do with jealousy? What a lot of people will do when I tell them that I'm poly, or in conversation about polyamory in general, is that they'll share that they feel as though the reason that they cannot do polyamory is because of jealousy. So I have some theories on that, and I will talk about it, but I'll also answer the heart of the question. A little bit of background is that my experience is that when it comes to polyamory and jealousy, that a way to describe polyamorous people is as jealousy pioneers. Here's the reason being. In my life as a monogamous person, and also from the feedback I'm getting, partly this question about, I could never be poly because of jealousy, mono people just don't go there in general. They don't actively engage their feelings of jealousy. They certainly do arise, and this is where I think there is a sort of opportunity for me to speak to mono people, even people who aren't interested in polyamory for themselves for whatever reason, is that poly people can help when it comes to jealousy because we have engaged it more. We sit with it, comfortably and uncomfortably with it. So I really love this question, and let's talk about it. So what do you do with jealousy? For me, I actually discovered something that changed my life when it comes to jealousy before I was poly. A few years before coming out as polyamorous, I was dating a woman who, about a month into our relationship, shared with me that she had had a threesome with two other men. And I was overwhelmed with the feeling of heartache, with the feeling it was very heavy. It did feel very green, like a dark green color in terms of the emotional color sort of correspondence that I'll make for it. And it was hard, and it was fast, and it was overwhelming. It was very dense. And so luckily I had the wherewithal or insight to take a look into what causes jealousy. And if you do the same on the internet, look at what psychologists are saying, it's insecurity. Jealousy, feeling jealous or envious, comes from an insecurity that you as the experiencer of the feeling has. This helped me so much. Just reading that signpost that jealousy comes from insecurity, I took a look inside and saw that at that time, not the first time, but the first time I felt jealousy and looked inside, and every time subsequent, it's about insecurity. For me, mostly body issues, that my body doesn't live up to cultural beauty norms or, value. So I oftentimes will feel, when it comes to more about sexual things, not emotional, the jealousy and envy that I've experienced are linked to that. And so what I do is work on it, and I'll talk a little more about that. Also, I want to make this distinction that for me, I don't really experience a lot of jealousy in a poly context. After that moment with this person I was dating and the two guys she was with, and that feeling of jealousy, which was before I was poly, it's more envy for me. And so I'll explain the difference. In my view, it's that jealousy is something like this. Hey, person, I see what you're doing. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad. Please stop. Like, in and of itself, just stop what you're doing. It makes me feel bad. It's kind of what the person who's experiencing jealousy might say. Envy is more like, hey, I see what you're doing. It makes me feel awesome. Can I do it too? Oh, I can't. Now I want you to stop. Or now I feel like crap. I feel weird. I feel icky. So I have seen a little bit of a link between more extroverted or outgoing types of people and envy, and more introverted or shy type people and jealousy. Certainly there's a lot of room for variation, but just maybe some food for thought. And for me, it's envy. Honestly, it doesn't happen that often as it used to. It happened more in the first couple years that I was poly, and it was about sexual situations that partners had with people that I wanted to have sex with too. Hey, you can't always fuck everyone that someone that you're fucking is fucking. In fact, you usually can't. That's not how life works, and you really wouldn't want someone to have sex with you if they didn't want to. You only want them to when you want to, they want to. And I know that seems basic, but on an emotional level, it can be really complicated. And sometimes you might find that your jealousy or envy is a real sort of foible or folly in your thinking. So maybe take a look. And that's really what I'm talking about here, is that I think jealousy and envy are best worked through, they're not really overcome. They will continue to arise in you. But if you continue to work on yourself and work on what you're insecure about, looking inward, journaling, meditating, talking to a therapist, all of these are ways to work on yourself and to find out, what are your fears? I would say communicating with your partners, depending on the type of relationship you have. If it's polyamorous, some people talk about all of their insecurities with their partners. I do. And my partners do with me. Also just accepting that it will happen. Poly people do experience jealousy and envy. In my experience, most do. And in my experience, most of my partners have experienced a lot more jealousy than me. Like I said, I don't really experience it. And what I do for them is I listen. I be present. Sometimes I change my behavior. Sometimes I think about the timing of what I'm doing. But mostly what I do is talk and listen with them. And the last thing I'll say about jealousy and envy is that as jealousy pioneers in polyamory, the more that you explore this terrain, this uncharted terrain, it will get easier. So good luck to you. Please ask me questions anytime here in the comment section, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, do so there. Talk to you soon.